Beyond the Sport, presented by Spectrum One.
This is Beyond the Sport. I'm Travis Strachek. Hope you're having a great week. Thanks for being here with us. Now, 2 weeks ago was the 2024 Boston Marathon. It is the premier marathon in the country, and let's be real, if you qualify to be a part of it, you have done something special. All those runners have a unique story of how they got there, but not all of them have the story of Dallas native Scott Kline. Here's our Robbie Fueling.
You run a mile, you check a box. You run a 5K, maybe you get a pat on the back. You run a marathon, now that's an accomplishment for anyone. But you do it in all 50 states of the country, maybe you're a little crazy, but one thing's for certain, you're exceptional.
It feels like now the Boston Marathon is officially underway.
Looking good. Get this done. You got it.
Let's go!
Whose idea was this?
Way to go. I love it, keep going.
This is hard.
Sometimes in life, the best moments come full circle. The finish to the 2024 Boston Marathon was 37 years in the making for Scott Kline. You see, in 1987, as a young law student at Harvard, Scott got his first taste of the infamous 26.2-mile conquest. He didn't know it then, but he was hooked. At 60 years old, the Dallas native has run a marathon in all 50 states of the country.
Honestly, if you ever would have told me I would have run 2 marathons, much less 50, I would have thought you were crazy. But I think that's what it is. I think it's just, living with that pain, knowing that you can get through it, and then when you cross that finish line, everything changes.
When he crossed the Boston finish line for the second and final time, he knew it meant something special.
And I remember that very vividly from 1987. And I made that left turn and I just started crying. I mean, I couldn't believe it looked the same. And there was part of me that almost wanted to walk and turn around the last half mile, but I also wanted to get finished.
The best part of the finish? The embrace with his wife, Michelle, someone who's been supportive of this chase since the beginning.
We've been married for 25 years, and it's nice to kind of impress her every once in a while.
Scott's one of the most accomplished runners you'll ever meet, yet not your typical runner.
I know you said it doesn't get any easier, but what would you say your favorite part about running is?
Oh, it's definitely the finish line.
I love it.
My favorite part of running is stopping.
For Scott, marathons aren't about winning or PR times. They're about the relationships he builds along the way.
It was like 30 people from Wisconsin who were just kind of amazed that I came to northern Wisconsin to run a race. They didn't know my name. They just called me Tex. And
That's so cool.
Yeah, I get to the finish line. There are 30 people yelling, "Hey, go Tex, go Tex."
In 2022, old Tex paid a visit to Huntington, West Virginia. And at mile 13, that's where an inseparable bond was formed with another veteran runner.
That day, I just gave up. I got in the car, called my wife. I said, honey, I can't do it today. I said, my leg hurts, it's cramping up, and then I just don't have it. So I sat in my car for about 5-10 minutes, and I decided, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to run. So I get out of my car, start running, and I wanted to quit. Again, and mile 14 was up front, and I saw someone running up ahead of me.
That someone was Scott.
And he dragged me through. I would not have finished. If I wanted to have saw him at mile 14 and started talking to him, I was going to turn around and get back in my car and go. Wow. So he got me through it.
Now, Michael, he's very selfless, but he did speed up to cross the goal line 5 seconds ahead of me in that race. So
Just to get that edge on you.
Even though he says it's never about the PR and it's never about the time, sometimes it is about beating your friend, even if they've nursed you through those last 13 miles. Just wanted to say, hey, it's a beautiful day, a little hot. I was thinking I had a pretty good chance to win this whole thing.
So is this the end? Was Boston the final chapter? If we've learned anything in this story, of course not.
I'm not going to miss running 30, 40, 50 miles a week in training, but, maybe a race here and there in some special place like Iceland or Tokyo will still be on the menu because I think even as we get older, you need to keep exploring.
Now, whether that's with his Australian Shepherd Finn, his wife Michelle, or their 3 kids, Andrew, Emily, and Ryan, Scott's always going to be on the run, looking for the next adventure.
Just the same way I felt when I was 23 and finished this, which was, if you can do this, you can do almost anything. I feel the same way today, and I hope that if other people, run 5Ks, run 10Ks, run this marathon, it will give them that kind of wholeness and completeness and make them curious to try other things. So if this old man running story has had any impact on anyone and it's positive, I'm very honored and very grateful.
Just great stuff, Robbie. And Scott has not just run a marathon in every state. He's about to run one in London. And he also runs for a purpose. In Boston, it was for the Stepping Strong Foundation. This was the 11th anniversary of the Boston bombings, and the Jillian Rennie Stepping Strong Center is helping transform the care for civilians and military heroes who endure traumatic injuries and events. All right.